Folks, just sue them. I'll explain what I mean and then get into the latest home prices and insights for York Region for week ending August 20th, 2025. If you want to speak directly with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video, in the description part, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Just sue them. In transactions, buying a house, selling a house, when things don't go according to plan, oftentimes one party is quick to say they're going to sue the other party. They may come up with this on their own. We're going to sue them. They don't do this, we're going to sue them. Other times it's family and friends in the background, neighbors saying, what happened? You should sue them. And people get this idea that they're wrong, they're in breach, and we should sue. We had a situation not that long ago where we sold the property. It was sold conditional. Part of the agreement was the deposit was going to be split into two payments. They were going to pay half the deposit within 24 hours, basically the next day. But the second part of that deposit, they were going to pay in 2 weeks. This was all negotiated up front. It was a substantial deposit. So our client, the seller, agreed to half of it now and half later because even that first half was a decent amount. Well, that's what happened. The next day, they put the deposit in for half. Then they fulfilled their conditions over the next 5 business days, their financing condition, home inspection condition. The transaction is now firm. The next step was the second part of the deposit. And on the day that deposit was supposed to go in, the buyer's agent calls me and says, hey, my clients, the buyers, miscalculated. They thought they'd have access to their funds. They don't yet, and they need another 5 days. So I explained this to the sellers, my clients, and they're not happy. And they're thinking about it, and they're wondering what to do. And they call me back and say, Santo, we could sue them, right? I said, well, technically, yeah, but this is a discussion to have with a lawyer, but technically they're in breach if they don't do that second deposit. They're in the wrong, you're in the right, but they're asking for 5 days. They're not telling you they want out of the deal. They're asking for an extension of when that second deposit is due. We're okay with the deposit being split up because even half the deposit was a substantial amount of money. So why not consider just giving him another 5 days? If you get into the whole legal aspect and suing him and organizing a lawyer, it's probably going to take you 4 or 5 days on its own. Why not consider just giving them the time that they need? In the end, that's what we did. We gave them the extra 5 days, and in 3 days they made that deposit, waited for closing. Closing came, went, everything closed smoothly, and everybody moved on. That whole expression of just sue them, people are quick to say that. But do you know what it takes? Do you really, really know what it takes to actually sue somebody? How long it takes, how much upfront money it's going to cost you, the investment, the frustration, the anxiety. It may tie up the property for a year or two. Like, there's so many factors involved in just sue them. And sometimes, even if you're in the right and you are in a position to sue somebody, it may not actually overall make sense to do that. Sometimes there are other solutions, and not everybody is out to get you. I'm not saying get taken advantage of, but sometimes it's worth trying to find some common ground. Sometimes It's legitimate. A buyer just ran into a snag and needs a little bit more time for something. They're not all out to get you. And some of these issues can be resolved just with a little bit more time. So think about that the next time you're in a position to just sue somebody. It doesn't always make sense, even if you can sue them. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. And if you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. Now, let's get into the numbers.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel. My dad's not here this week, but I'll be running you through the numbers for York Region detached homes for week ending August 20th, 2025. Let's get into it. Here we have Richmond Hill, Vaughan, Markham. You can see the average prices for each week here. You can see the difference between all three regions. Let's get into Vaughan. So for Vaughan, we had 20 sales with 5 of them coming in at $2 million or more. The average sold price is sitting at $1,735,000, and that 1,735 is 3% lower than where we were at the same time last year. Here we have median price in blue, average price in orange, and you can see it looks like they kind of came up and then sometime end of July started trending down. We're currently sitting at a median price of $1,426,000, which is 12% lower than where we were at this time last year. So sales, as I mentioned, 20 sales, and 25% of those sales came in at list price or more. Active listings, we're currently sitting at 615 active listings, and 78 listings were put up for week ending August 20th. Now, months of inventory, we're at 7.1, which is pretty deep into a buyer's market. We have an average days on market of 31 for Vaughan detached homes. Now, Richmond Hill. Richmond Hill, we had 17 sales. 5 of those came in at $2 million or more, and the average sold price is sitting at $1,781,000. That 1,781, 12% lower than where we were this time last year. And you can see here, average sold price, median price. Median price is sitting at $1,598,000, and it's down 9% from where we were last year. Now sales, as I mentioned, we had 17 sales, and 24% of those sales were sold at list price or more. So active listings is at 579. There were 47 new listings put up for week ending August 20th. And months of inventory, again, pretty well into a buyer's market at 7.9 months of inventory with an average of 34 days on market. Now Markham here. Markham had 22 sales for week ending August 20th, with 2 of them coming in at $2 million or more. The average sold price was $1,555,000. And that is down 16% from where we were at this time last year. Now, average price, median price, this kind of helps you see the trend, the dotted line here. You can see that median price is sitting at $1,485,000, and that is actually down 19% from where we were at the same time last year. Now sales, as I mentioned, 22 sales, 18% of those are selling at list price or more. Active listings is currently sitting at 492, and there were 55 new listings put up for week ending August 20th. Now here, months of inventory, we're just into a buyer's market now at 5.2 months of inventory, and the average days on market is currently sitting at 34. So here we have a breakdown MOI, or months of inventory, for all the 3 regions, and we did include condos here, but the arrows show differences between last week. So 7.1 months of inventory for Vaughan, 7.9 for Richmond Hill, 5.2 for Markham, and 8.9 months of inventory for York Region condos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.